Good morning and welcome to the Week 1 ISSMA District Virtual Solo and Ensemble Festival. I want to take this opportunity right off the bat to express a great big thank you to all of you for lending your time, your talents, and your expertise to this endeavor. We really appreciate your willingness to serve and in many cases step outside of your comfort zone to tackle and embrace this new technology that has allowed us to continue to offer educational events and support to the teachers and the students in our music programs across the state during what has been a really challenging time for everybody. We want to get you started as soon as possible on your judging assignment today, but there are a few things that we would like to cover with you before you get started on your events. You should have received a pay voucher a couple of days ago in the final email that we sent out to you, and we need for you to fill those out and email them back to us as soon as possible. That pay voucher should look like that, and you can download it, print it out, and fill it in, and then scan it, send it back to us by email or even by snail mail if you need to, or take a picture of it and email it back to us. The sooner it gets back to us, the sooner you get paid. I want to talk a little bit about, again, some of the materials you should have ready to get set up for your judging assignment this morning. First of all, you need to make sure, again, that you have whatever device you're going to be using to view the videos and do the electronic score sheets, whether that be your desktop computer, a laptop, an iPad, some kind of an Android tablet, or whatever. You can also use a separate device of some kind for accessing and viewing the PDF music files, or you can use the same device as you're using to view the videos with just another window and a split screen opened up to view those PDF files as well. We also sent you in the email a couple of weeks ago some hard copies of the ISSMA score sheets that you'll be using. Those are just for reference, so if you've printed those out, you can kind of use those to reference as you go along, even though you won't be using them to actually score the events. Let's talk a little bit about some general information about the assessment process that you're going to be doing today. This is a non-competitive assessment for ratings and written commentary only, and the emphasis is going to be on that written feedback from adjudicators today. All ISSMA group level classifications will be used, so each solo or ensemble that you adjudicate today will be entered in group 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 based on their grade level, the difficulty of the music performed, and the experience level of the students. We also sent out to you a classifications form that you can refer to that will give you a few more details about the different classifications. That form looks like that. And so it gives a little bit more of a description of each of the grade levels on there, or the group levels. Okay, and you can have that up and handy as well while you're adjudicating the events. Also in this event, the Group 1 required music lists will be used. Any event that is entered in Group 1 must perform a selection from their required list, unless there is no required list for that particular event. Other than Group 1, there are no restrictions or requirements or expectations regarding the type or genre of music presented in Groups 2 through 5. Also, in the email that we sent out a couple of weeks back, there was a link to the Group 1 required lists that are posted on our website. You can click on that link and access that Group 1 required list for your events that you're judging if you do have Group 1 events to adjudicate today. Certain penalties and infractions are in effect for the district solo and ensemble events that we didn't have in effect for our fall events. If a penalty is to be assessed, you should do so in the little box down in the corner of the electronic score sheet. And I'm going to call that up now so that you can see where that is. Here's the electronic score sheet. And if you'll notice down here in the left-hand corner, you see infractions. So if an infraction would occur, say the measures aren't numbered correctly, or you did not receive a PDF score for that event, or if for some reason the selection is not on the Group 1 list and it's a Group 1 event, then you would click in those boxes there to indicate that infraction. If, for instance, no score is provided, the penalty is 1 division rating lower, you would have to go over here to where the division rating is after you've done all the adjudication and it's tallied up the score and given the rating. Then if you needed to go 1 division level lower, you'll have to click there to change that. Okay, and you do have the ability to do that. While we're talking about penalties, let me just say, if there's any question about whether there should be a penalty given or not in any of these events today, err on the side of not giving it. We are not in the business today of giving penalties. We want to give good assessments to the students that have chosen to participate in this. So unless it is something, absolutely blatant, please be judicious in your use of penalties today. It's very possible that some of the ensembles that you're assigned to today may be missing players or parts due to circumstances beyond their control, either through COVID or the weather delays or anything like that. If an ensemble is missing players but all the parts are still covered, judge as normal. If all the parts are not covered, then the event should be judged for comment only by providing written comments on the sheet and then choosing CO in the score drop-downs for each category. That looks like this. If we go up to the score sheet portion of this, if you click on the score over here, you notice there's a 1.5 here, but at the very bottom of the list, there is a CO for comment only. So if you have to do an event for comment only, you will need to indicate that CO in every one of the 9 categories on the sheet, okay? And that will automatically register a participation rating then for that event. Soloists may perform with or without accompaniment, just like our normal event, and the accompaniment on the video can be live, or it could also be pre-recorded. If for some reason you don't have a PDF music score for an event, assess the event as normal and then lower the result by 1 division rating level, kind of like what we did a second ago. Let's talk a little bit now about the adjudication process itself. You're assessing all aspects of the performance using the categories and descriptors of the rubric. As always, all the categories are of equal value and should be treated as such. Make sure you're giving written feedback in every category, especially if a point deduction has occurred in that category. Reference measure numbers whenever possible. Judge the actual student performance only. Don't comment or evaluate on the quality of the video or the technical production. Remember that these recordings were made on personal devices like cell phones and so forth, not by professional equipment. The judging process for this event should be in 3 stages: the impression stage, analysis, and comparison. Impression refers to that initial thought or feeling you may have when you start listening to the performance. For this assessment, the impression that you get must take into consideration the current circumstances and climate of music instruction due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Once you get past the impression stage, then you're going to use the analysis stage, where you derive why you derive the impression you're getting. You analyze why you're getting the impression that you're getting. During this analysis stage, be a clinician and make specific suggestions about how they can improve, and be positive and encouraging about what they are demonstrating in their performance. In the comparison stage, then, you're comparing their performance to the rubric. You're not comparing one performance to the next performance. And so you're going to give your earned rating based on the comments and the comparison of the performance that you make against the rubric, and to the degree to which the solo ensemble is maximizing their potential at this point in time, considering, again, the given circumstances surrounding the educational opportunities that are happening right now. When you're making your written commentary, remember the 3 C's of judging: compliment, criticize, and correct. Receiving some positives to begin with make the negatives go down a lot easier. And when you do list negatives, always make sure you give a course of improvement or ways to correct those negative aspects of the performance. The quality and thoroughness of your written commentary is very important, since directors and students will have access to your written commentary and scores as a part of their valuable feedback after the overall assessments are processed and sent back to them. Provide specific remarks next to each category, and when possible, use measure numbers as references. Use the suggestions for improvement field down at the bottom of the sheet like you would the bottom or back of a normal hard copy sheet, providing additional comments on the overall performance and identifying the greatest areas of strength and the greatest suggested areas for improvement in the performance. You can also give some rationale for the points that are assigned in each category and descriptor. There is no limit to the amount that you can write in any of the text boxes. So you can write as much as you want and it will all be saved and everything. It's not like running out of room on a normal sheet. So you can put as much in those text boxes as you want. The main thing with these assessments are to be encouraging and be positive and be student-centric in your commentary to them. Try to temper your normal level of performance expectations, again, due to the circumstances that most programs are under right now, but still provide an honest and thorough assessment of the performance that you hear. Due to the relatively small number of events that you'll assess, usually about half of what you would have in a normal solo and ensemble event, and the lack of a strict time schedule today, take the time necessary to finish your thoughtful and complete written commentary. Using single word comments in categories like great or okay or listen should really be avoided in this process unless they're accompanied by other descriptions concerning what's great or okay about what they did. When you're assigning scores in each category, let the written comments drive the number assigned in each category. Make sure that you submit a score in each category for each event as well. You're going to probably need to scroll up and down on the screen to make sure you get all of them scored. The total points will appear at the bottom of the online evaluation automatically, as will the rating. If you find your score close between two ratings levels, please give the benefit of the doubt. Try to avoid that dreaded 14 score on the sheet. Some reminders and suggestions kind of based on the events that we had this fall. It was discovered during the assessments this fall that the Heart Out process does really not function in Firefox browser very well. So it's recommended you don't use that, and Chrome or Safari, either one, seem to work pretty well. So avoid Firefox, use Chrome or Safari to open up the Heart Out website and access your videos and commentary. Make sure that the media ID code for the video you're watching matches the music PDF file that you're referencing. I'm going to show you a little bit about how to do this. If you go to this particular event, you're going to notice the media ID code is right here. It says 37161. If I go to my Dropbox file, then I'm going to look for that number, okay, and I find it right there, 37161, and so I would click on that, and there's the music, and once again, the code should be written up here in the corner as well, all right? So before you begin judging an event, make sure that that media ID code matches between the video and the PDF. Also, the PDFs that were used for the test event that we did last week are still in your folder, and all of those have a T at the end of it. So you need to look for the numbers without T's for this particular event today. The T's are for the test event, so you can ignore those today. Each performance tile within Heart Out will include the student name or ensemble name, the media ID code, the school, the ISSMA event name and number, and the group level. Once again, let's take a look at what that looks like, what those tiles look like. Here are the performance tiles, and you see the student name, the media ID, the school, the event, and the group level. Okay? When you access one of these tiles, you need to make sure that you click right on the student or ensemble name. If you try to click anywhere else in the tile, it won't open. But if you click right on the student name, you get the little hand there, you click on it, and it will open up. All right, so just be aware of that. While you can assess your event levels in any order that you wish, because they're not listed in any kind of order when you access them, I would recommend that you start with the lower group levels that you have and work your way towards the upper group levels, very much like you would in a normal solo and ensemble schedule. So some of you may have group 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Some of you may only have groups, 3, 2, and 1, or whatever, or groups 5 and 4. Think about starting with the lower group levels and working your way up through it. You don't have to, but that's just a suggestion. While it's possible to start and or pause and restart the videos, it's recommended that you watch the video straight through before you start making your comments and making your scores. If you need to review something, you want to hear something one more time to make sure you heard what you thought you heard the first time, that's fine. But I would listen to it all the way through once without stopping before you go back and check anything like that. When you are finished with your commentary and scoring for the event, make sure you click on the Save Feedback button at the bottom. And that's way down here like that. You click on that button, Save Feedback. It's going to turn a different color, and that is automatically uploading your commentary and scores into the HeartOut app. You won't get any kind of other reminder or anything or acknowledgement that it's been saved. Okay, just realize that, but make sure that you hit that button before you go back to the next event. There's no need to try to sign your sheet anywhere because your name is already in the system, and so when your feedback is saved, it will automatically have your name on it, and that will go out then to the directors and the students, so they will know who their adjudicator was. To access the next event, after you've completed one, you can do one of two things. For instance, if you're judging clarinet solos, you could go up here to the top of this screen, click on clarinet solo, and you would go back, and there would probably be several more tiles here. You go to the next tile and click it. The other thing that you could do is just to go up to the back arrow up here at the top of the screen. That'll get you the same thing. So you can do either one of those things to get back so that you can get to the next event then. While you're on your own schedule today to complete your events, it's recommended that you don't spend more than about 15 minutes on each event. We know from the fall that it's going to take a little bit longer to type the comments in and be thorough about it than it normally would be to scribble them down on a normal score sheet. But you also have the advantage today of not having 15 more students standing outside your door waiting to get in and be evaluated. So you can take your time and make really good and thoughtful commentary. But try not to get carried away, or you will find yourself, at 6 o'clock in the evening and you're only half done. So just kind of be aware of that. Work on your own schedule today, but try not to spend more than 15 minutes on each event. Because of the continuing battle with COVID-19 and also the recent weather issues that have closed schools for almost 2 weeks in some places, there may be quite a few DNA events, just like there normally would be at a regular in-person event. So this may explain why some of you will have less events than you normally would have. Most of you are going to have about half as much as you normally would in an in-person event, but some may have quite a few DNAs too. We just won't know that until you get into your screen and into your judge folder there and find out. Take the time, if you haven't already, to review that rules and regulations document that you received in the email last week, especially the specific things about solos, ensembles, and percussion events. That document looks like this. It's the general rules and regulations, and then there's some specific things about solos, about ensembles, and especially about percussion. And the things in percussion there, again, there are specific rudiments that are required and specific scales and patterns required for each event level. Make sure that you know and understand what those are. While we're talking about that, percussion judges, real quick, if a student would happen to perform rudiments or scales that were not the required ones for their group level on this list, it may be because they didn't get the information from their director somehow or whatever. If they demonstrate rudiments or scales or patterns and they do them and they don't happen to match, go ahead and judge them and accept them in this case, because we don't know where the misinformation came from. So rather than penalize the student, judge what they presented. If a question arises about something that you're not sure about, feel free to send me an email during the event. And if you're waiting on a decision about something, you can go ahead to your next event and judge that until you hear back from me. But again, err on the side of caution about worrying about any kind of penalties or anything today. We're here to adjudicate and give assessments. At the end of the day, make sure that you send an email to me to let me know that you've completed all of your events. And again, you're not on a set time frame. You can use the entire day if you want to. Some of you that have a few more events than others may even need to go into Sunday if you need to. And if you do, that's fine. Just let me know through an email or whatever that you're going to be taking a little bit more time. But we do need everything completed before Monday so that the directors will have access to their feedback at that point. One other thing that I want to show you on the HeartOut app is that you may be judging more than one type of event. So for instance, when your screen comes up when you log in, you may see that you're judging clarinet solos and clarinet quartets and large woodwind ensembles. You may have more than one event area here. When you are finished, make sure that you check that you've done all of your events in all of those different areas, okay? Because it's easy to forget and get lost where you are, all right? So go back and make sure that you open up each one of those events and check to make sure that you've done all of the assessments that were assigned to you. I think that about covers it. Thanks again for your help and support with this whole endeavor. We hope you have a great day of adjudication, and we hope you hear some great performances. If you need anything, let us know, and happy judging today. Thanks.